Hello, welcome back. You're watching the Arthritis show. Um, Today, joining us in our studio is Dana Brody. Welcome, Dana.
Hi, how are you?
Dana is a nutritionist here in South Florida, and she is a consultant to our show. And she always has some really interesting stuff about nutrition. So, what are we talking about? Let's talk about obesity. We're talking about knee pain right now, and obesity is one of the most common causes of osteoarthritis and knee pain. As you know, it's an epidemic. How common is it right now?
This is a growing epidemic, a pandemic actually at this point. I was reading a study actually today that they said by the year 2030, 100% of the children are going to be obese.
100%.
100.
If they go on this rate.
Yes, we are supersized, undernourished, overfed, overstuffed, sedate. I mean, we are not doing anything like we did years ago. And many people ask, the questions, well, my grandmother or my great-grandmother, they lived to 97, why? And they didn't eat, perfect all the time. They ate meat and they ate, fattier foods, but what they don't realize is that all of this processed food wasn't around.
Yes.
And this is what is killing or promoting disease.
Well, it's a very common thing. Obesity, we get to see that a lot. People, especially with osteoarthritis and knee, we try to immediately, when we see these people, based on these epidemiologic studies that are being done, starting right off the bat on some sort of program or recommend them to do some program.
Well, you have to really start taking an interest in yourself. You gotta, when you're choosing the drive-thru of McDonald's, you have to say, wow, is this really the perfect choice? And, we hear a lot about, well, healthier food's more expensive, but in reality, medication is more expensive. And the long-term effects of an apple's not so expensive, a banana's not so expensive, salad's not so expensive. So you have to start to make healthier choices. And you got to take an interest in you, and you have to start moving around. I know people are suffering, they're in pain, or they've just created this mindset, that they can't do it. We are, filled with excuses in our head that we don't have time, we're stressed out, we don't feel good, so we don't want to do anything.
We're too lazy, we're either too busy, it just puts us in this vicious cycle that, there are people who eat at McDonald's every day. Every day they do. I'm glad you brought it up, but they've done research on these, and there's everyday frequent customers there that at least they do one meal a day. And of course, these are people who are a bit much more overweight than a bit, but not only that, they have all kind of diseases such as high cholesterol, diabetes. Obesity can prone you from anything from common cold to all the way to cancer. It's risk factor for that.
All of these diseases are inflammatory diseases. I mean, this is the root. If you look at the root cause of all of these modern-day diseases, this is inflammation. And what is going to, stop inflammation is eating foods that are rich in nutrients, rich in water. People are drinking way too much soda, which is loaded with more sugar. The body is just, I think the study was done recently that America is eating an estimated 130 pounds of sugar a year per person.
That's ridiculous. That's like half a pound a day.
It's insane. And, we don't realize the foods that have sugar in it either. So, it's very easy to go buy the 99-cent chips of potato, the 99-cent potato chips or the cookies or just very easily accessible food. But the bigger problem here is that we are teaching our children to eat this way. If you're drinking a Coke, how do you tell your child they can't have it? So, they follow your patterns. And if we don't start educating the people, and we don't start educating our children and teaching them to eat better and not grabbing a hot dog or, add fruits, add vegetables, get up 5 minutes earlier and make them breakfast and not feed them a Pop-Tart.
I think that's the best way is making the food yourself, preparing the food yourself. Go to the Publix, buy your own stuff and make it yourself. That's really the best way.
Absolutely. And another thing is, this processed food syndrome is all of these extra words, because I can't pronounce 90% of them, that are being, first of all, your food's being, bleached out, all the good nutrients out of them. All of this garbage is being added to them, and all of that stuff, the body does not know what to do with, so it's getting put in the bloodstream, it's spiking the insulin levels, then you're dropping, and it's on this vicious cycle. This starts at 7 in the morning, 10 o'clock, you're going to the vending machine. Lunchtime comes, it's this continuous cycle of what you're craving. So disease is just, you're creating your disease.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the take-home lesson here that, you know, with the obesity, it's actually more than a battle. It's like a war. You got to go for it, and you got to take care of your own body. You got to think of your own body as a temple. You be in charge. You're the only one in charge of your own body. Don't expect anybody else to help you, because that help does not exist. You're in charge of it, and you got to do it yourself.
And exercise.
Oh, exercise is a key thing, of course.
Yes.
Now, we recommend people exercise 6 to 7 days. That has to be done, not just once a week. You got to exercise 6 to 7 days to get the most benefits out of it. I wanted to go to my co-host, my partner here, Mr. Rowan Garcia. I think you had some final words to say, right?
Well, Doctor, just following up on the obesity issue, what we're going to see in the future is that the governments are actually very worried and concerned about this obesity issue in the general population. And what you're going to start seeing, and what's already starting to happen a little bit at a time, is they're going to start legislating what we eat. Because you're seeing it in New York with not allowing the 32-ounce soft drinks being sold in New York, and you're starting to see it in California.
Well, I think that I agree with that. Don't you think?
I have absolutely no problem with that, and unfortunately, government has to get involved, because this environment that we're living in, some dietitians, some sociologists are calling it the endless harvest, and that's basically what it is. It's food 24/7 all around us, and literally, what the food companies are doing is they're exploiting this evolutionary conditions that humans have, which is, if there is food, we will eat it, because the human body is always preparing for the famine that's about to arrive. And if you look at the human body, the fat cells, they engorge. They're the only cells in the human body that has the ability to increase their size by
hypertrophy,
yes, and they're designed for that, because when there's food that you eat, the fat cells get fat because they are preparing for the next famine. But unfortunately, the famine never arrives.
Well, you have a good point here that everybody's in the habit of eating the whole, everything they put in front of you. You really don't need to do this. You need to only take 75%. Just eat 75% of what they put in front of you, and you'll see how fast you're going to start losing some of this extra weight. And we just got to discipline yourself. We all came up with this idea that, you know, the food is sacred. If you don't finish it, it's God's not going to give it back to you, and stuff like that. No, it's not so. You know, the food is there for you. Of course, you should not waste it, but you should not overeat.
But you have to reorganize that plate as well. You know, that plate should have a lot of color on it. The protein on the plate should be about your fist size. And just to go into what Roman was saying, they want to put a tax on soda, like cigarettes, so to kind of decrease, you know, the people from purchasing this. And they want it's going to, I mean, that's going to, if it does, it's going to be the domino effect. They're going to do this with processed food, but at the same time, the government is enabling these huge corporations because they're making billions of dollars.
Exactly.
So it's like a catch-22. But it's about you being conscious of yourself. If you want to be healthy, you need to make a decision and choose your choices. And if you want to be sick and create disease, then you're going to, you know, make bad choices. So it has to start in the brain.
Exactly. Well, this is all the time that we have for you folks at home. Thank you for watching the Arthritis Show on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon here in South Florida. Make sure you join us for Friday's show. As usual, we'll bring you the latest in medicine and arthritis in particular. Have a great day.